boys, we are back again for another UFC 328 final prediction. We got Khamzat taking on Strickland. In a co-main event, Joshua Vaughn taking on Taira. Now guys, this is a stacked card. On the first fight on the card, we have Bobby Green taking on Jeremy Stephens. Now this is an interesting fight because we've been seeing Jeremy Stephens pretty active in bare knuckle fighting. King Green, Bobby Green is back in. Now he is also another athlete that loves to stand on the feet. He fights with his hands down, he has beautiful combination, and he also has knockout power. So this fight is the best way to kick off the pay-per-view with a striking war. But let's look at the key to victories for both these athletes. When you look at Jeremy Stephens is very good on the feet. He's very good at putting some pressure on his opponents, and he also has durability. He tends to get in trouble when he gets taken down and it starts to become a grappling match, right? But that's one thing he doesn't have to worry about when it comes to Bobby Green. So, key to victory number one for Jeremy Stephens is get on Bobby Green. Now, Bobby Green tends to have his hands down. That's his style. He's able to get away with it. But if you stay on somebody and their hands are down, you might be able to land a shot where he can't get his hands up. Because a lot of people, I always talk about this all the time. When my hands are down, for me to block some, I have to either move away, use my feet to get away, or bring my hands up. If I'm fighting somebody who's always on me, I either have to throw fast or I have to keep my hands busy. If Jeremy Stephens can keep Bobby Green's hands busy, either with the pressure or with the kicks, it's gonna play more in his favor, okay? Key to victory number two, don't try to hit Bobby Green in the head because Bobby Green is so good about avoiding and getting hit in the head. When somebody pulls away from you, the one thing that's available is a low kick. So sometimes when I would train or fight and I know I can't hit somebody's head because I'm, too short, or they're good about pulling the head back, I'll go 1-1-2. Don't put everything into 1-1-2. I'll just go 1-1-2, get his head back, and I'll throw the hardest leg kick to start disrupting that, the calf or the thigh to slow down his mobility, and then the head will come to me because his move is gonna be as good. Key to victory number three, let's wrestle. Now, Bobby Green can wrestle. He does have some submission victories, but sometimes, everybody and their mom thinks this is gonna be a striking battle. And I believe Bobby Green is gonna think it's a striking battle. So if you come in there and throw that monkey wrench in there, it could set him off a little bit. Now let's go to King Bobby Green. Key to victories for him, number one is do what he does best. Run that mouth and keep the hands down, looking to throw some heat and some power. Usually I would like to say keep your hands up for an athlete, but Bobby Green has been able to master this. He has beautiful knockouts. He's able to, control the void between him and his opponent. So for him, Bobby Green gets a green pass. Even though, Rufri knocked him out with a beautiful spinning back kick, Bobby Green gets a pass from Mighty to keep his hands down. Key to victory number two, go lateral. If Jeremy Stephens starts to pressure you, you gotta look to go lateral. Keep him guessing where you're gonna be on the right side, the right-hand side, the left-hand side. You're always just popping that jab, making him try to get across that void. And then when he does and he overextends, then you catch him with the right hand, right? Jeremy Stephens is gonna do a big lump and left hook or a right hook. He misses, the right hand's gonna be right there to land and, potentially knock out Jeremy Stephens. So with those key to victories for both those gentlemen, who do we have winning? I'm about to go with King Bobby Green. He's just been more active inside of mixed martial arts. Not saying Jeremy Stephens' time away from mixed martial arts has hurt him, but I feel Bobby Green has been more active fighting more well-rounded people. Now, I'm not saying Jeremy Stephens can't win, right? Because it is a fight, but if I had to make, a pick, I'm gonna go Bobby Green. Now, guys, when we're talking about UFC 328, Khamzat taking on Strickland, you guys gotta know that we got PrizePicks going on Saturday night. And let you guys know, this video is sponsored by PrizePicks. Now, PrizePicks is a daily fantasy sports game played directly from your phone. It's very simple. Get on your phone, go to the App Store, download PrizePicks. When you do that, use my promo code MIGHTY. Cool promotion going on right now for new users. You play $5 and get $50 instantly in your lineup. And, we pull up PrizePicks on my phone and we're taking a look at the board. The beautiful thing I love about PrizePicks, it's not always about significant strikes. They have by round, takedowns, how many strikes are gonna land in the first round, so many things on the event board. And right now when I'm looking at it, right here, this one is very interesting. Total rounds. How long do you think the co-main event fight between Joshua Vaughn taking on Taira. Do you think it's gonna go more than 3.5 rounds, or do you think it's gonna end less? You know, that one, it's gonna be high pace, high volume. I like less. I like Taira's grappling, but you also have Joshua Vaughn, who throws a lot of heat, high volume puncher. So could it go all 5 rounds, or can it go less than 3.5? They also have, when it comes to significant strikes, 27.5 significant strikes for Sean Strickland against Khamzat Chimaev. Now, this is an interesting one because Sean Strickland is a high volume striker, right? We just don't know if Khamzat Chimaev is going to get taken down. So 27.5 strikes, I feel comfortable going with more with that. That just seems very, very low for Sean Strickland, even if he's fighting a monster like Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev landing 39.5 significant strikes. Now, if he gets on the ground, he does ground and pound. I'm not sure how they're going to count it, but 39.5, I like less with 39.5 significant strikes. So locking your picks at the right place, which is PrizePicks. Now, shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the final predictions of UFC 328. Now, let us move on to the next fight, which I'm super excited about. We have Sean Brady taking on my man, Joaquin Buckley. Now, both these guys are coming off a loss, right? So now we have some stakes because both these guys are on L. They want to get back on that win streak to work their way to that title contention. Now, let's start with my man, Joaquin Buckley. Now, Joaquin Buckley is a very athletic specimen. He cuts a lot of weight, but he's able to make that weight class very strong. Has beautiful highlight reels. He threw a kick. Homeboy caught it. Throws a spinning back kick, hits him in the chin, and knocks out Homeboy. And then he went up against Kamaru Usman, one of the best welterweights of our generation. And, you know, Kamaru Usman just had that championship mentality, just out-wrestled, took Joaquin Buckley down over and over and over again. And I think Joaquin Buckley learned a lot. You know, me and Joaquin Buckley were talking about Kamaru Usman's old-ass knees. He proved both of us wrong. He was able to take down Joaquin Buckley and just outgrind him. Now let's look at Sean Brady. Sean Brady's on a loss as well. He came against Michael Morales, who is a big athlete for that division. And you know, you look at Sean Brady, he's beat guys like Leon Edwards. He's been able to put together a lot of wins with that beautiful grappling, and also his hands are bad as well. And I think this is a good fight for both these guys because they're both coming off losses. Now let's just stick with Sean Brady because we're here. Key to victories for Sean Brady. Victory number 1, get Joaquin Buckley backing up and get him on his butt. When you look at his last fight when he fought Kamaru Usman, that is one thing that Kamaru Usman was able to do to Joaquin Buckley was back him up, take him down, and out-grapple him. If Sean Brady's able to get Joaquin Buckley to the ground and control him, that can play a huge part on his way to getting the victory, because when Joaquin Buckley fought Kamaru Usman got it down and controlled him 13 minutes on the ground. That's pretty much half of the damn fight. And that just shows you the power of grappling, that you could take a specimen like Joaquin Buckley, put him on his butt, and be able to out-grapple him. And that's what Joaquin Buckley's got to watch out for. He's got to defend that takedown from Sean Brady. So, key to number 1, have Joaquin Buckley back up and look to take him down. Key to victory number 2, constant pressure. Joaquin Buckley, when you're constantly pressuring him, he can't decide, are you going to wrestle? Are you going to throw strikes? You're putting him in a limbo because he has no idea what you're going to do. Sometimes athletes are so used to, when they train, okay, this is striking distance. Okay, this is grappling distance. Okay, this is kicking distance. When you start to blend those distance in the void together, people can't tell what they're doing. And I think that's what hurt Joaquin Buckley when he fought Kamaru Usman, because Kamaru Usman can fight at a certain distance where he can punch you, grapple, and keep you confused, right? Key to victory number 3. If you get Joaquin Buckley down, try to keep him down, use your grappling, look for a submission when you get his back. Okay, now let's go to the other athlete, Joaquin Buckley. Like I said before, he's coming off a loss against Kamaru Usman, and that loss was geared towards that championship mentality that Kamaru Usman has, and just Kamaru Usman putting him on his butt. So key to victory number 1 is Joaquin Buckley has to defend the takedown. He's got to defend a takedown, and then once he defends it, he needs to either separate completely and get his distance and avoid back, or he has to stay right on Sean Brady, because if Sean Brady shoots and he misses on this takedown, he fails it, it's gonna, you know, deplete some of that energy, and that's when he's gonna be open for a strike. Key to victory number 2, he's gotta be moving. The more movement he has, it's gonna be harder for Sean Brady to land that takedown. I always refer to, you guys ever played Top Gun back in the old school days in Nintendo, you know, you got someone on your back and you're just like this, he gonna shoot you down. But if I'm constantly doing this, or you play Star Fox 64, you do a barrel roll or you do the backflip, the target can never line up a shot, right? So Joaquin Buckley's got to keep on moving. That way, if he shoots, he's gonna go right past him. So lots of movement for Joaquin Buckley, and looking to throw lots of kicks. Don't be scared to throw kicks, but if you're lots of movement, you're throwing kicks, the chance of you get taken out are gonna be significantly lower. Okay, key to victory number 3, manage your gas tank, right? If Sean Brady's gonna be all over you with the takedowns, you know, the punches, you have to manage that gas tank because it's a 3-round fight instead of a 5-round fight. So he's been 5 rounds, but I still like to see him manage his gas tank because he does carry a lot more muscles on him, which require oxygen and blood. So with all that saying, I'm gonna go with my man Joaquin Buckley. Sean Brady, the last time, you know, when he's lost in his fights, he's always been finished. Michael Morales finished him, Bilal Muhammad finished him as well. And that's one thing that when you look at Joaquin Buckley, before he lost to Kamaru Usman, this man was on a 6-fight win streak and he had 4 finishes. Joaquin Buckley is a finisher. And I know what you guys are thinking. Damn, DJ's picked 2 black athletes. He must be racist. That's not true. I like both guys. They're great athletes. And those are the guys I'm going with, okay? Now, let's go to the next fight, which is Volkov taking on Acosta. Guys, there's not much we can say about this, okay? Acosta is on a 3-fight knockout streak. We have heavyweights. You know, if Volkov is gonna look to take him down, because he doesn't want anything to do with that power. He's long, tall. He's gonna make sure he keeps his head out of the way and not get knocked out. Acosta is gonna try to come across the void and try to knock him out. So if I had to pick somebody, you know, I'm kind of torn because I feel Volkov has more of a well-rounded skill set. He can grapple. You know, we're gonna go with Volkov. I think Volkov is gonna be able to negate that power shot, get him down, and then look to out-grapple him. So for that, I'm gonna go with Volkov. I'm not gonna give keys to victories for these guys. They're just going to be looking to knock each other out, okay? But let us go to the co-main event. Now, the co-main event, Tatsuro Taira taking on Joshua Vaughn. Now, this fight was supposed to happen at UFC 327, but it fell out because Joshua Vaughn had an injury. And we don't know what that injury was. Was it could be an ankle, knee, you know, a shoulder? We have no idea. The biggest thing about this is that, is he fully recovered? And what did he do with the extra 4 weeks? What did he do with the time off, right? I know Tatsuro Taira did. He just kept on preparing and make sure he stayed healthy and fine-tuning his game, how he's gonna try to approach it to become the first ever UFC Japanese champion. And it's a very big deal, right? When you look at the athletes that have come out of Japan, you know, that made it in the UFC, you have Ki Yamamoto, Yushiro Okami, you know, Sexyama, you know, but they consider him Japanese and Korean. And then now you have an athlete named Tatsuro Taira. Now there's a lot of those guys, but when you go over to Japan, oh, excuse me, and you also have Kyojo Horiguchi. When you go over to Japan, they're always looking to see who's gonna be that first Japanese champion. And Tatsuro Taira has that opportunity in front of him. But he's taking on a very young, powerhouse Joshua Vaughn, who has blistering hands. He has great takedown defense, and he can mix it up. He's got great kicks as well. But Joshua Vaughn has a certain way how he approaches the fight, and that's with his hands, and he works his way into the fight, right? With Tatsuro Taira, young, quick feet, quick hands, great grappling ability, and that's where I think his strong suit is. So let's talk about the keys to victory for Tatsuro Taira. Now, for him, Tatsuro has got to get the fight on the ground. So key to victory number 1, get Joshua Vaughn on the ground. Now, Joshua Vaughn has been taken down before, but nobody's been able to out-grapple him, get on his back, lock up the body triangle, start to make him make a mistake. And I think if Tatsuro Taira can get him down on the ground, I think he can, put on some very big damage or pose a very big problem to Joshua Vaughn. Now, key to victory number 2, when you do get him down, you have to be active on the ground. You look at when he fought Brandon Moreno. Once he got Brandon Moreno on the ground, he got his back. He wasn't looking for the submission. He got to a great position when he was able to land down some severe ground and pound, and then the fight ended within the second round. Once after he got out of the triangle, once Taira is able to get to a good position, he's able to land down some massive punches. So if he can get there against Joshua Vaughn, it's going to be very beneficial for him to be active. Now let's go to the champion in Joshua Vaughn. Key to victory number one is you got to defend the takedown, right? That's what Joshua Vaughn has been doing his whole entire career. He can't just back up. I'd like to see him circle to the back, start doing some ground and pound, force Taira to roll and maybe play a little ground game just to wear him out. That way, if I'm Taira and I shoot, you back away, I pay no penalty. I shoot, you back away, I pay no penalty. But imagine if I shot, he sprawls, he goes to my back, he hits me, and then I do I somersault, I do a Grammy roll, and then I'm on my back, and he hits me a couple times, and then he passes my guard. I'm like, dude, if I shoot again, I might suffer more damage. So that's one thing when I see Joshua Vaughn fight, is someone who shoot, he'll back up and let him up and start a combination again, where it's a little bit of a defeat, but I'm not demoralized, if that makes sense. So key to victory number two. Now he's a high volume guy, and I would like to see him look to pick his shot. Once Taira makes a bad decision, land that big KO, back him, put him to sleep. He's still young, he's still growing into his own, but I hope with this extra 3 weeks that he got to recover from that injury, I hope it's been able to help him fine tune, his skill set and his game plan to execute against Taira. So with that in mind, who do I have winning against Taira versus Joshua Vaughn? Now this one is hard because you know what? This one's hard. We had Joshua Vaughn on the Mighty Cast. He's in great shape. He's focused, but we just don't know what that injury is, and is that injury healed? Now, I'm not sure, but I'm going to go on a limb and say I think he's coming to this fight a little bit injured, because what type of injury is it, right? If it's a bone, bones take 6 weeks to heal. Is it a ligament? A ligament takes a little longer. Is it a shoulder? We don't know what that injury is. And then when you look at Taira is good on the feet. He's got great grappling. And we know, I feel if he gets Joshua Vaughn on the ground, he's going to fucking work him. I just feel he's going to be able to work him. But, it's going to come down to who's going to be able to execute, right? Joshua Vaughn doesn't have that one-hitter quitter like Manel Kape or John Dodson in the division. But he does have great sprawling. He does have great combination. He's able to, frustrate his opponents. But I haven't seen that one-hitter quitter where, he's got to defend a takedown for 5 rounds straight and keep Taira off him, where Taira can move, pop a jab. He's been in danger with with Brandon Moreno. Like, this is probably the hardest fight to call on this card, just because they're both so fucking good. So, I'm going to go with Joshua Vaughn. I'm going to go with Joshua Vaughn. He's a champion. I think he's going to be able to get the job done and defend a takedown. If he does not defend a takedown and Taira gets his back, it's probably going to be curtains. It's going to be a long fight. You have to be a short fight or a long fight. We'll find out, but I'm going to go with Joshua Vaughn, right? Because I got to fucking pick somebody. I can't just say we'll see who's going to win. But we're going to go Joshua Vaughn. Now, let's get to the main event of the evening. Khamzat Chimaev taking on Sean Strickland. Now, this is one we've all been fucking waiting for, right? Back in the day, I was at the gym, and this guy said, man, I'm a big fan, man. I used to watch when I was 8 years old. I was like, fucking A, I am getting old. But besides that point, back in the day, you'd have athletes fight 3 or 4 times a year. Now you get to see athletes fight 1 time a year, and Khamzat Chimaev is one of those guys. Early in his career, he was fighting a little more, but then he got sick. He was trying to figure out what was going on. He was always pulling out of fights, but now he's back. He's down at Jackson Media House, Santos Studio, training with his team, and I'm super excited to see him back. Then on the other hand, you have Sean Strickland, the loud, brash guy, but when he fights, it's almost like a chihuahua, because he just doesn't do anything that's like, bah, 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 bah. It's not like, bah! Like, he's not the most athletic guy, and he even admitted, right? When he fought Paulo Costa, you know, I thought Paulo Costa was gonna whoop his ass, but Paulo Costa was able to get walked down by Sean Strickland. The fight was a snooze fest, and it was nothing. But Sean Strickland did have a fight recently, and he did look better. Sean Strickland has a style where he gets in his Philly shell style. He walks forward. He throws he has a beautiful jab. He probably has the best jab in all of, you know, the UFC, right? And the thing that Sean Strickland does have is he does have great takedown defense, which is kind of crazy because he stands right up like a fucking Christmas tree, which, you know, typically you want to be down a little bit, have a little bit lower center of gravity, but like I said, he stands up like a telephone pole. And then when you look at Khamzat Chimaev can box. He has knockouts. He's got great kicks. He's got great boxing, but he tends to go out there and shoot his takedown from 16 miles away, but he's able to land it and out-grapple people. And he's very good about finishing people too. You look what he did to Robert Whitaker. He broke his teeth. But let's look at the keys to victory for both athletes. I'm going to start with Sean Strickland. Key to victory number one for Sean Strickland is he's got to be all over Khamzat Chimaev, because Khamzat Chimaev has a, you know, a style that he shoots a takedown. If he doesn't get it, he's on his feet again. But he has a tendency to shoot again. You don't see Khamzat Chimaev have a little swagger on the feet where it's like, okay, I can't get him. Pop, okay, move, pop, 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 pop. You know, it's not a swagger type of style. He's not like, he doesn't have that, you know, that swagger. I'm sure he does, but from the fights that I've seen, it doesn't have that swagger. And I think if you don't have that swagger to manipulate and go lateral and force to turn your opponent, then I think Sean Strickland's walk him down mentality works well for that. So Sean Strickland has got to walk down Khamzat Chimaev. When you look at Merab versus Peter Yan, Peter Yan took the fight to Merab. You look at when Merab fought Sean O'Malley didn't take the fight to Merab. Sean O'Malley was looking, a lot of swagger on his feet, looking to hurt Merab. Not, I'm gonna fucking fight you. We're gonna fight, and through the process of me fighting you, I hope to hurt you. Key to victory number two, you gotta emphasize key to victory number one. Walk him down, because when you walk him down, the one thing he's gonna do is he's gonna shoot. When he shoots, he's gotta be prepared to sprawl. And when he sprawls, he's gotta make sure he sprawls, give him a receipt, and then stand back up and reestablish the void and have him do it again. What that does, sometimes in athletes, I say, stay on him, right? Don't recreate the void. But for Strickland, I think it plays a better part for him to recreate that void, meaning that if I come in, I do this, and I throw my jab, I'm all over Khamzat, he shoots, I sprawl, I hit him a couple times, I disengage completely, because if I get right back up, there's a thing called reshoot. He'll reshoot again. I don't want the reshot, because athletes are trained to reshoot. Bop, 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 I shoot, oh, I miss, he gets up, I shoot again, boom. I don't want that. I come across the void, I throw a couple jabs, he shoots, I sprawl, I hit him a couple times, I disengage completely, and I restart that. What that does is that it attacks and shocks the nervous system, because once again, when you wrestle, you're used to reshooting, retrain it. It's embedded in our DNA and the culture of wrestling. But what's not embedded in our DNA and culture of wrestling is that I shoot, I'm looking, I'm grabbing, I get hit a couple times, and then the guy leaves and he gets up and walks away, and I'm like, fuck, okay, I gotta redo it again. So key to victory number two is re-emphasize key to victory number one, and then also recreate the void and go back to key to victory number one, which is pushing the pressure. So let us go to the champion, the Wolf, Black Wolf, Khamzat Chimaev. Key to victory number one for Khamzat Chimaev. I would like to see Khamzat Chimaev work his way into this fight. Reason why I say that is because Sean Strickland has a style where he puts in a drive and he never gets tired, because he doesn't really, it's not a tempo change. It's I'm in drive, I come across, jab, hook, right hand, teep, jab. He's not doing anything explosive. And when you have an athlete that puts in a drive and you tend to put it in fourth gear, you could tend to gas out. You look at his fight with Kamaru Usman. That first round, he was all over Kamaru Usman. He dumped everything in the tank, and then that second round and third round, he wasn't light on his feet, and he can't have that happen with Sean Strickland, because Sean Strickland, I believe, is a better striker than Kamaru Usman because of his jab and his constant pressure and Khamzat's got to manage that gas tank. So key to victory 1, work your way into the fight. You have 25 minutes to get the job done and beat somebody who's only been finished one time in octagon, and that's by Alex Pereira, right? So key to victory number 2, if you get him down, start your submission game. Don't rely on the ground and pound. Use your submissions. You know, when you fought DDP, you relied on a takedown, You got takedown. When he got to crucifix position, he wasn't able to land that significant shot to put him out, right? And he didn't use his grappling. He's a great grappler, where if you get somebody in crucifixion, you stand up Kimura, or you go key lock, or you go over to armbar, or you do reverse triangle. There's so many submissions that you can do when you get somebody in a vulnerable position. So he's got to make sure when he gets there, he's got to flip the mindset. Instead of grounding and pounding him, I can end this fight with just a submission. It should be a dominant performance, but if he doesn't manage that gas tank, and if he puts everything he has in that first and second round, third, fourth, fifth round, it's going to be fucking miserable for Khamzat Chimaev. Now, with all that being said, for Khamzat Chimaev taking on Sean Strickland, I'm going to have to go with Khamzat Chimaev. I think Khamzat Chimaev has just shown more in his fighting style. I mean, what he did to DDP, what he's been able to do to Kamaru Usman. He has a certain way that he goes about his fights, which is he goes out there and he takes everybody down. Sean Strickland has never been manhandled or out-grappled, and I think Khamzat Chimaev can do it, but he's got to manage the gas tank. I've seen him train before, and sometimes it's good to train as hard as you can. It's so good to train hard, but sometimes when you train that hard, when it comes to fight time, he might be overtrained. But I am going to predict a finish for Khamzat Chimaev, and he's going to be dominant, beating Sean Strickland. So boys, if you guys enjoyed this breakdown of the final prediction for UFC 328, Khamzat taking on Strickland, please leave a like, subscribe. Also, hit the bell, turn on go live, and let me know down in the comment section below. Am I getting these wrong, or is your boy to come out with mean green, all good picks for PrizePicks? As always, we'll do an instant live reaction here on the channel, so come back Saturday night, and we will see you guys at the next video.